everyone, today is market day. This is my next market coming up, and I am all ready to go with my self-care shirt on today. It's a little short. I'm feeling a little self-conscious in it, but that's okay. I have everything already packed up. Now, I didn't really need to, once again, really prep for this one here because I pretty much had inventory left over from the last market, and really I just needed to make a couple of room sprays and like 2 reed diffusers. So it really wasn't much. I did get everything packed up yesterday, which pretty much took me all day long. I did not expect to take all day packing all this stuff. And it's not really a lot that I'm taking with me. I'm taking my regular totes that have all the products in it, my duffel bag that has all the displays and everything else in it, my checkout box, and I'm taking my tote bag that has my signage in it. And then today I'll be using my red wagon. I don't really need the big heavy duty one today, but I will in 2 weeks. So that is pretty much all I'm taking with me. It doesn't look like a lot, but it feels like a lot. Oh, and my display bin for my diffusers. But today's pop-up is indoors. It is at a plaza in Brooklyn. It's a small market. I'm not expecting to have too much inventory today sold, which is why even though it's in 2 crates, I kind of downsized a lot on a lot of stuff that I'm taking. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll see how this one goes. It's done by the people who did my first ever market earlier this year. So I'm not expecting too much today, but I'm going for the experience, and I'm also going to see if I can sell some more stuff here. I'm taking my book. I got a brand new book that I want to read. So I'm taking my book with me so that I can have something on those moments today where it is downtime. I'm taking it with me to read. So yeah, but for once, I'm not rushing. I do have a little time, but I am going to start taking this stuff downstairs and start heading out. The market starts at 12. The doors don't open until 11. It is now 10. So yeah, I'm heading out the door in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Now, it's been some time since I did this market, actually 2 weeks now, but I am here to give you guys the recap and the rundown of my participation in the Boss Network market here in New York City. So, yeah, I just did this pop up not that long ago, and it's a small event. It was done by the coordinators who did the first pop up that I did earlier this year. I decided to sign up for another one. I know she does at least one or two every month, but I wanted to get prepared. And as you all saw and know, I was doing other markets. So I wanted to do at least one more for this year. And I ended up signing up for this one here. Now, it was held in a community center in Brooklyn, and it was a small event, and I didn't really have to do much preparation for it, which is why you guys didn't see any prep in the beginning of this video, because like the other event, I had stuff already prepared. I probably had to do maybe one or two room sprays to replace the ones that I sold, and probably about two diffusers if I remember correctly. But there wasn't much preparation for it, so that's why I didn't show you guys anything. And besides, I feel like you all would be bored with me just sitting here setting up, because this is where I now do all my prep for my room sprays and my diffusers in my room, and making like one or two. But I don't know, I could be wrong. You guys let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But getting back to it, I didn't do much preparation for it, so it was pretty much ease for me when it came to this pop-up event. So for this event, I had to arrive there at 11 a.m. to start setting up my table. The doors didn't open until 12 p.m. sharp, which is fine because it usually doesn't take me that long to set up my table for these events. I'm noticing I'm actually getting better and better at speeding it up and setting it up, so that's a plus for me, because in the very beginning I was very slow about it, but now it doesn't take me much time to set it up. But I had to be ready to go at 12 p.m. It was a Saturday the event took place on, and it ran from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the evening. So, as usual, I took my regular setup that I normally take for indoor markets and pop ups, and that is my two storage bins that have all my products in it, my duffel bag that has all my displays, my checkout box with me, and my little backpack that has all my essentials in it. And of course, my tote. Yeah, my tote, because I also carry that with my new sign that I purchased. I didn't show you guys, but if you saw in the footage before, I have a new sign that hopefully will help people see it a little bit better than my old plastic signs. And also, this is more sturdier for those days where it's very windy, so it'll stay up and I don't have to really worry about it falling over. But it's a little brown chalkboard sign that I put up on the table and lets everybody know all the pricing and things like that. I brought all of that with me. It wasn't much to carry downstairs because there was no tent to take, thank God, and no heavy wagon to take as well, or a chair. So I was happy with the indoor markets. And when I arrived, it was my first time going to this building, so I didn't really know where the entrance was when I first got out of the Uber. I packed up everything, and he managed to point it out and show me where the entrance was, because I wasn't paying attention. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't paying attention. I just wanted to make sure all my stuff was out of the cab and that I didn't leave anything behind. Once I got to the door, I ended up going through and noticing that right away, as soon as you go in, there is a flight of stairs there. It's probably about 4 or 5 stairs that you got to go up. So there's no other way of getting up to the main part of the building. So I had to unload my wagon, carry my stuff up those stairs, and then load my wagon back up. The event itself was held inside one of the rooms within the building, and goodness was our event was on the first floor. So I rolled in there, and it was a decent space. It room was kind of big. The way it was set up, there was tables lining the walls, and then in the middle you had tables that were set up like a classroom, as if you were in a classroom. Now, I was hoping that I wouldn't be in the front because I saw previous events that were held there and how they set it up. So I was hoping that I wasn't going to be in the front. I was also hoping that I wasn't going to be at one of those tables that were in the middle, and instead I wanted a side table, but I ended up being that first table in the middle. So it is what it is. I was okay with it. I didn't have to worry about really bumping into anyone. So that was a plus because that was something I was worried about. When I first arrived in there, I noticed that there were a couple of vendors already there. One was even set up. She was the one that was right across from me. And as soon as I found my spot, I began, of course, setting up my display. Now, as I've done with the three previous events, I really didn't have anything planned out for my table, so I pretty much did everything on the fly. And I think this one came out really nice. I really liked the way the sign was set up on my table and brought everything together as I was setting up. Of course, the first thing you put on your table is the tablecloth, and I did not switch out that tablecloth with my 6 foot tablecloth. And instead, I had the 8 foot one. It's crazy because when I did the other event, they told me I was going to have an 8 foot table. And that's the reason why I bought that extra tablecloth. And come to find out, I ended up having a 6 foot there. So instead of returning it back to Amazon, I just kept it because you never know. I might have an 8 foot table event down the road. I ended up not switching it out of my bag, and I left my 6 foot one at home. And my sister even had it, and she was going to bring it downstairs when I was leaving, and I said, no, I don't need it. And come to find out, I really did need it. But I made it work. It didn't get too bunched up at the bottom. And the good thing is, people didn't trip over it when they were walking by the table. When the doors opened up at 12 p.m., we had about a handful of people come through. Oh, and the sun is finally coming out, so that's a good thing. We had a few people coming through the doors when they first opened up. It wasn't that many, but I did have a lady come to my table and we had a nice discussion about my products. She really liked the room sprays and the reed diffusers, which I'm glad. I'm always glad when somebody likes some of my products. It's a plus for me. But she was kind of taking inventory of what she liked, and she told me that she would be back later to make a purchase. Now, if you're a small business owner, you know that when people say that to you at events, it usually means that they don't come back. You don't see them again. You say, oh, well, take my card or whatever. But they don't really come back. It's like a rare thing for them to. But she actually came back probably about 15 minutes later. She ended up dropping off her bags because she lived in the area, and she came back and she made a big purchase of some of my products. I think she got 2 room sprays, a reed diffuser, and a reed diffuser refill. So I was happy for that. She was my first sale of the day, and then I got my second sale right after her, who bought one of my, I think it was Morning Escape small candles. So I was happy for that. I'm always happy when I get that first sale and that second sale. It always eases me from getting panicky that this is the day that I don't get anything. So I was real happy for that. Well, aside from her and the vendor lady who was the one that was on the side of me making a purchase, it was pretty slow. The traffic was really not there. And those that did come, they ended up being friends and family of the participating vendors in the room. So it was kind of disappointing to not have a good, decent flow of people coming through the event. But yeah, that was pretty much the traffic that went through the whole day. That was my that was my day. You have those days, and that was definitely that day. But I did manage to speak to a few of the vendors who were very friendly and very nice. I did make 2 purchases I know I told myself I wasn't going to purchase anything when I do these events, but I was hungry, so I made a food purchase. And the food, as you saw, looked amazing and it tastes amazing. And the ladies, they have a catering service in New Jersey. So they go around and they cater at different events in the tri state area, and they did a good job with the food. The food was really good. I did eat some there. I did take some home with me along with my sister's food. And then I made another purchase of a hair product from one of the vendors that was on the opposite side of me. So, other than that, it really was kind of a slow pop up. It was a slow day. Um, yeah, it was a slow day. But it was also a moment for me to actually do what I said, I believe, in the previous video, to get up and actually film some stuff, talk to people. So I did come out of my shell more because I knew I was going to be there by myself that day. So I went ahead, and the footage you saw is actually me recording everything. And then the other thing I didn't expect, but I probably should have, because it is also a networking event as well, was there was a segment in the day where each small business owner had to stand up and introduce themselves and introduce their business and why they started their business, or just basically tell the story behind their business. And I definitely wasn't prepared for that. In those moments where I'm not prepared or I don't get a chance to prepare myself fully, my anxiety shows big time. I did get up, I stood up. I think I was one of the last few to stand up and introduce myself, introduce my business. And by doing that segment, I actually got more sales that came after that, because vendors, I guess, and the people that were there, I guess they heard my story. Some of them resonated with my story, and they ended up purchasing some of my products. So it wasn't a bad thing to stand up and speak for myself and my business. I don't think it ever is, but I'm glad now after the fact. I'm glad that I did it, and I hope they enjoy the products that they purchased. So some of the highlights for the day, I don't think there were too many highlights for the day. I would have to say meeting some of the other vendors and talking to them about their businesses was a nice highlight. That even though I just said my anxiety was through the roof, the introduction segment was a nice highlight. And also, of course, for me, the food was was a nice highlight. It really did taste really good. That salmon was so good with that honey barbecue on top of it. That glaze. I don't know what else they put in it, but it tastes so good. But those were pretty much the highlights of the whole day. Some of the mishaps I would have to say would, one, be having to unload and load my wagon at the entrance to come up the stairs, but it was like 4 or 5 stairs, so I really didn't mind. Another mishap was when I was recording. As you saw, someone was backing up, and I don't know why he was backing up, because there was nobody coming through, there was nobody doing anything. He just decided to back up, and he backed up into my phone and dropping it on the floor. Good thing is my phone is pretty sturdy, so it doesn't really and it has a screen protector on it, so when it falls it doesn't really break, knock on wood. But that was one of the mishaps there. And then I would have to say another mishap was me bringing the wrong tablecloth. Now, I don't know, it's probably not a mishap, but the reason why I didn't speak during the event was because they played the music so loud there, and it seems to be a theme with all her events, because I remember doing the first market, there was loud music playing to the point where you could barely hear the customers. You had to literally be in their face. And it was the same thing this go around. The music was super loud and I could barely hear the people talking. So I guess that's a mishap. But yeah, I just feel like when you're at an event and you're trying to sell stuff, it's fine to play music, but the music should be at a level where you can actually hear people speaking instead of trying to be like as close as possible to their face, trying to speak to them, because I think that's just rude to like be in people's face like that. But yeah, I think the music was a mishap as well. I'm gonna count that as one. All right, so now we're getting to the moment in the recap of, did I make any sales, and if so, how much did I make? So for the day, I made 5 sales, and this is my lowest so far out of all my markets. And my gross sales was $97.56. But on the upside, my Cash App QR code was used for the first time and it actually works. So I am happy for that. Now, as far as my top sellers go, I really didn't have one today. It was pretty all over the place. So people were buying here and there, and it was more like one one item, 1 cent. So there was no top sellers of the day. However, I did end up selling another reed diffuser refill, so that's a good thing for me. I now know that people are actually going to purchase them, so they will continue to stay in my product line. Now, the bigger question is, did I make my vendor's fee and my transportation back? And no, not even close to it. I actually lost money, I feel like. Yeah, not feel like. I definitely know this was a big loss. The vendor fee was $125, and yeah, I did not make that back. And of course, transportation, even with the discounted price, I definitely didn't make that back. So for me, as far as the sales end goes, this is a loss. This is not a good day for me, but it is what it is. I got to experience it, and yeah, I'll just put it up as a loss for the day. So that is pretty much it with the recap of the event. It was a nice little decent pop-up event. However, there was very little traffic because, like I said, most of the people there were family and friends of other vendors. And while some of them did buy a couple of things, a lot of us vendors pretty much didn't make any sales or made 1 or 2 sales or very little sales that day. Some of the positives for the event was it was indoors, which meant I didn't have to lug a tent with me. The vendor and the coordinators were very nice and friendly. And despite the low traffic, it wasn't a hectic market, so I didn't have to worry too much about being overwhelmed in case people decided to come to my table and ask a lot of questions, especially seeing as I'm the only one mostly at the table by myself. And as far as the negative goes, it is without saying that there was very low traffic. Be there from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. and have that low of traffic for all those wonderful vendors that were there. They all had great products. It was very low traffic, which meant no sales and a waste of a vendor's fee. So will I be doing this event again? Let's see. Well, as much as I like the coordinator and I appreciate her efforts in trying to get these events up and going, I will have to say I'm probably not going to do, more than likely not going to do any more of her events for now. This is my second event with her, and the first one, while it was a little bit better, I still feel like they're both the same outcome. It's pretty much low traffic, low sales, and a high vendor fee, and it's just not mapping out for me to continue to do her events anymore. So I will definitely be passing on doing any more until she builds up some type of traction and makes it worthwhile. But yeah, that is my outtake on this pop-up event here. It was one of my disappointing ones of the year, and that's okay. You're allowed to have the disappointing ones. I just wish I hadn't spent what I did to do the market, but hey, It's my first year. I'm trying these out. I now know for next time what I want and what I don't want. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do have some more market videos coming up because in December I have two holiday events that I have to prep for, and one of them is a weekend event, as I said in a previous video. So yeah, there are more market videos coming, and yes, I will have some prep for them because I have to prep for both markets at the same time, seeing as they're 5 days apart. So I have more videos coming for you guys as far as the markets go. And with the market season coming to an end, I am working on some topics to cover here on this channel that will hopefully cover until the next new market season starts up. I really do hope you all enjoyed today's video, and if you did, then go ahead and click that like button, comment, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when the next new video comes out. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and don't forget to show yourself a little more appreciation. So until next time, this is Tammy saying, take care, everyone.